Let's talk about GTA Online today, specifically GTA Online Businesses. Which one are awesome and which one are trash? Let's start with trash, obviously. The apartment business. Look, I'm all for having multiple income streams in this game, but the apartment business is just too much hustle for too little reward. First off, you've got to drop some serious cash just to get started. And we're talking millions here, not just a few grand. Then, once you've bought the property, you've got to put in all this work to renovate and furnish the place. And after all that effort, what do you get? A measly sum of money that barely even covers the overhead costs, let alone turns a decent profit. It's like working a minimum wage job, except instead of asking, "Do you want fries with that?" you're asking, "How would you like the couch position, sir?" I'm not knocking anyone who enjoys that kind of property management gameplay loop. To each their own, right? But from a pure money-making standpoint, the apartment business is about as useful as a chocolate teapot. There are so many other lucrative activities you could be focusing on instead. So unless you've got money just burning a hole in your pocket and you really want to live out those landlord fantasies, I'd say skip the apartment game altogether. It's a whole lot of hassle for very little payoff. The definition of a garbage tier business opportunity in Los Santos. Doc's forgery business. Look, I get the appeal of being a shady forger cooking up fake IDs and papers. Sounds cool in theory, right? But in practice, this racket is about as profitable as trying to sell ice to an Eskimo. The setup costs are through the roof, the work is mind-numbingly tedious, and the payouts are pitiful. Unless you're really committed to that Walter White lifestyle of running an illegal operation out of a dingy basement, skip this one. Car wash. Washing cars sounds like such an innocent little side hustle, but in GTA's economy, total garbage tier. Sure, the initial investment isn't too crazy, and let's be real, with the pace of action in Los Santos, those cars are just gonna get dirty again 5 minutes later. Basically, you simply ain't making some big money with it. V-Cargo. Ah yes, the dreams of being an international shipping magnate. Sadly, this business was doomed from the start with its astronomically high startup costs. Even if you do manage to get things off the ground, you're looking at endless grinding. For the amount of work involved, the payouts are laughable. VIP experience? More like VIG, very infuriating garbage. Workshop. Look, I respect anyone who wants to get their hands dirty and live that gearhead life. But turning wrenches all day for chump change? No thanks. Overhead expense makes profiting off this racket an uphill battle. Unless you've got a real passion for automotive work, stay away from the workshop. Your wallet will thank you. Hangar. This one had such potential to be lucrative. Own your very own air freight and shipping empire? Sign me up. But in typical rockstar fashion, the execution was severely lacking. Exorbitant property and staffing costs, combined with tedious cargo grinding and pitiful payouts, make the hangar a certified drain on your resources. If you want to roleplay as an aviation mogul, more power to you. But from a money-making perspective, this one gets grounded in the trash heap. Time for try-worthy businesses that sit a little above the trash tier. While not exactly home runs, they've got some redeeming qualities that make them, well, worth a try at least. Crates. I'll give it to the crate hustle. There's definitely money to be made if you're willing to put in the effort. Whether you're sourcing special cargo or just shifting mundane supplies, it's a fairly straightforward gig. Acquire crates, store them in your warehouse, and sell them off for profits. The catch? It's an absolute slog. But I get the appeal, especially for players who don't mind a bit of mindless trucking gameplay while they catch up on their favorite podcasts. It's reliable work with the potential for decent paydays if you've got the stamina. Just don't expect to get rich quick. This is a slow burn that requires some real dedication to the grind. Cash. Ah, yes. The classic criminal cash flow of counterfeiting, drugs, and other illicit activities under the guise of cash creation. While not quite as lucrative as its white powder cousin, more on that later, there's still decent money to be made for determined entrepreneurs. Sure, the startup costs for a cash factory are pretty steep, and you've got all the usual headaches of managing supplies, security, and sales. But hey, when you're raking in tax-free Benjamins by the trucker load, those hassles start to feel like minor inconveniences. Where this one loses points is the gameplay loop, which can quickly feel stale and repetitive. It's the same cycle on repeat. Source cash, let your workers do their thing, make the sale, repeat ad nauseum. Hardly the most thrilling criminal endeavor. But for players looking for a reliable income stream that doesn't require constant hands-on effort, the cash business can be a worthy addition to your portfolio. Lab. Now we're cooking, pun very much intended. There's just something alluring about the underground in business, isn't there? Maybe it's the ominous molecular insignias, or the hazmat suit chic fashion, or maybe it's just the siren call of pursuing that sweet, sweet cash money. Whatever the appeal, the lab represents a step up from the standard cash counterfeiting ops, higher risks, higher stakes, and higher potential profits. The downside? This one's a slow burn, not unlike the actual cooking process itself. Getting your lab up and running requires massive investmenta. Money can be decent though, it's not the most accessible of businesses, and the thrills are spread pretty thin between long periods of waiting. But for committed players looking to roleplay as their very own Heisenberg, the lab is a try-worthy endeavor, providing you go in with the right expectations. Just don't get too addicted to those White Widow profits. Alright, let's talk about the good tier businesses. The ones that won't necessarily make you a billionaire overnight, but are solid moneymakers if you're looking to diversify your criminal portfolio. The facility. The Doomsday Heist Hustle. An oldie, but a goodie. Sure, the entry costs for an underground lair are steep, but those premium heist-taking are no joke. We're talking serious paydays for successful crews willing to take on these high-risk, highly complex jobs. Not exactly a casual criminal pursuit, you know? Still a good business in my opinion. The agency, the newish kid on the block offering some of those sweet, sweet contract jobs. But assuming you've got the capital to get set up, the agency opens up a steady stream of lucrative hit contracts to tackle. Whether you're running deadly infiltrations, high-stakes recoveries, or all those wacky prep missions in between, this operation keeps things engaging with constantly rotating objectives and challenges. The best part? You can efficiently grind these out solo if you're a lone wolf operative, or bring in some trigger-happy backup for that couch co-op experience. It won't make you stupid rich, but it's a great way to diversify your income streams. Just be prepared to hear a lot of Dr. Dre while you're on the clock. Alright, now we're getting into the great tier businesses. Operations that may not be certified money printers, but will still leave your wallet feeling pretty damn healthy. The arcade. Between the iconic casino infiltrations, hauling away insane hauls of cash and valuables, and all those wonderfully excessive vehicular escapes, the diamond jobs deliver some of the most cinematic caper experiences in the game. Definitely not for the faint of heart or novice thieves. Arcade business are great in my opinion because you getting that cash flow in without wasting much brain power. Once you manage to kick in, it will be only up from there. The auto shop. If you prefer getting their hands dirty with some honest-ish work, the auto shop business is a great little hustle. Yes, you'll need to grind out legit customer car mods and repairs to keep that squeaky clean front going. But any gearhead worth their 10mm socket knows the real money is in the other acquisitions and side hustles, if you know what I mean. And while those individual jobs won't make you super rich, consistently grinding this business and treating yourself to the occasional high-end export results in a seriously healthy stream of revenue. We've finally arrived at the big leagues, the best tier businesses that'll have you living that true kingpin lifestyle in no time. We're talking about the enterprises that perfectly blend profitability with engaging gameplay loops. The Nightclub. Passive income, baby. There's just something so satisfying about watching that cash roll in while you're out causing havoc across the city. The Nightclub operation is basically money printing for lazy criminals, or at least those savvy enough to put in the initial investment and setup work. All you've got to do is settle in and let that money truck back up to your parking lot. The Nightclub is passive income gaming at its most gloriously absurd and lucrative. The Coke Lockup. For players looking to get their hands truly dirty chasing that intoxicating white gold, oh baby, we're talking about a massively profitable operation, providing you've got the capital to get manufacturing set up and the discipline to keep those supply lines stocked up. Because once you've got product flowing, you're talking about tanker trucks filled with crazy money just rolls out the door. But for experienced operators who know how to cover their tracks while moving weight, the returns are absolutely unbeatable. The Kosatka submarine. For the elite thieves who just love that heisting thrill, the nuclear-armed Kosatka sub is your literal key to unlocking financial freedom, or your potential demise, depending on your luckiness and capabilities. because housed inside this unassuming little underwater lair is the mastermind operation for pulling off the infamous Cayo Perico scores. We're talking about some of the most complex, meticulously orchestrated caper gameplay this side of Casino Royale. Timing, preparation, sheer skill. This job requires you bring your absolute A-game every single time. The margin for error is basically zero. Money is unbeatable though. So there you have it, my definitive tier rankings for all the major business hustles in GTA Online. Which business is your personal favorite and you are doing it right now? Please let me know in the comments. Subscribe to the channel and I'll see you next time. Till then, take care and have a nice day.